Well, Josh approached me about Savannah House. We have a mutual friend in Dr. Elaine Heath at school, and I was aware of Elaine's work with the Missional Wisdom Foundation. And what that is trying to take the church, not necessarily in a new direction, but taking the church outside the walls of the church and meeting people where they live.
Savannah is our first attempt with the Missional Wisdom Foundation to work with a large church here in the area to form a community in an upscale neighborhood, not with people that live in poverty, but with people who have busy lives and struggle and hurt. Income level does not remove suffering from people's lives. And what we have found over the years is that intentional community can work anywhere and should work everywhere.
You know, we talk as Christians a lot about loving your neighbor. Well, so many of us don't even know our neighbor. And sort of fundamental to this Savannah House philosophy or approach is opening your door and getting to know the people that are around you.
We get to experiment in this missional way, and we get to see what community life for the girls, Aubrey, Emily, and Andrea, can be like in this kind of situation in Plano.
So the Savannah House is an intentional Christian living community where my two housemates and I live by a daily rule of life, which includes daily prayer and reaching out to our community in any way that we can possibly see fit.
The Savannah House is an experiment where we're trying to see where God is already working in this neighborhood.
So with the Savannah House, we pray every weekday, so Monday through Friday. We pray together and we go through different prayer styles throughout the week, so each day is different.
Or it is simply by knocking on doors and asking people over for dinner on a Friday night.
Friday nights we do community dinner where we have like neighbors and friends come over and we share a meal together and just have conversation and build community with each other.
We support each other. We have really tough conversations with each other about personalities clashing, about ways that we can sharpen each other, and that's what we do, is we make each other better.
I've learned to fail and to pick myself up again and to continue to realize my failures and to grow from them. Whether it is knowing that knocking on every single door in a hallway is gonna get people to come over for a community meal on Friday night or not, or making sure to be vulnerable and open to my roommates and my housemates to make sure that they understand who I am and make sure that I can understand who they are as well.
I've learned to really come at things with an attitude of grace and humility, knowing that there's a path that's been forged by people before me, that God is already working here and that I can work alongside God.
I've learned a lot about myself and just like my expectations for myself, and then figuring out being myself within such a different community environment than like I've been a part of in the past, and so just kind of figuring that out.
The residents of the Savannah House have 3 goals. The first one is their discernment of ministry calling as they live in covenant with one another. The second one is to gain local church experience as interns at Christ United Methodist Church. And the third goal is to simply live missionally in this luxury apartment complex.
So last Friday, I was out with a friend and we were walking back inside, and there's this old lady that lives down on the first floor, and she was standing out there with her cell phone and this piece of paper, and she said, "Can you help me fix my washing machine?" And I got scared, and I was like, "I don't know a whole lot about washing machines, but I'll do the best that I can." And she's like, "I just need you to help me start it." I was like, "Well, okay, I can do that." So she let me into her house and she showed me her washing machine, and you just needed to pull it out. And so I showed her that you have to pull the thing out for the water to start. She was really grateful, and she told me that her husband normally does the washing, but he was sick and so he couldn't do it. And then later that night, after community meal, we had some friends over, and I noticed out our balcony window that there was an ambulance, and so I stepped out to see what I could see, and Helen was her name, had gotten into the passenger seat. And so the next day, each of the three of us wrote her a note and we delivered it to her. And she called me later that day telling me how thankful that she was that we cared, that we showed up and that we showed her love. And she was saying that she wasn't the nicest person and she didn't think that she deserved all of this love, but she was really grateful to have it. And so that was last Friday, and then on Monday her husband passed away, and so we called her today to check up on her, and she's still just really grateful that we care enough to call her and talk to her, and I'm really excited for where this friendship can go.
I think what inspires me is that they are creating something so new. It is so amazing to me, the idea, just the whole concept of meeting people where they are.
It's amazing what they do. They do things that are so far out of my comfort zone. I mean, they literally open their doors to people, strangers that they've never met, invite them into their home, serve them their food, share with them fellowship, share their stories. And it is just so inspiring to see them reaching out to people around them in ways that I never could. I would be afraid to, but they are just out there and making a difference.
It has been an absolute pleasure watching this idea come to fruition, seeing these residents move in and seeing the stories of their lives as they experience what it means to just be a good neighbor, seeing God transform them from point A to maybe we're at point F or G on this long journey of their own ministry experience. I can't wait to see where God continues to lead the Savannah House into the future.